A rare look at the ocean floor beneath Vancouver's Spanish banks. Thanks to unique cycles of the moon, the West Coast has had 2 days of the lowest tides in a decade.
It's like a kid in the candy store. I get to see stuff that I hardly ever see otherwise.
The exposed ocean floor is a boon to those who study marine life.
It's the kind of things that is normally just for the scuba divers. So things that normally wouldn't be out of the water. So there's little hard corals, there's really interesting sponges, a lot of the sea stars and nudibranchs, all the really colorful stuff tends to live lower on the shore.
The low tides also mean a feast for seagulls and other birds.
Saw a few starfish, a seagull eating a starfish. I don't know how that tasted, but
little crabs.
A few little crabs. Yeah, it's cool. It's beautiful out here.
And a treat for the beachcombers and the skimboarders.
It makes it a lot easier to skimboard farther because the waves are lower.
But this ocean in temporary retreat also brings hidden secrets closer to view. In 1888, the SS Beaver shipwrecked not far from here off of Prospect Point. Now, rumor has it the crew was drunk, and 4 years later, the ship sunk beneath the waves. But there are people who believe that if you're lucky, on a day like today, you might be able to catch a glimpse of the shipwreck beneath the waves. Though we didn't glimpse the wreck, we did track down these pieces of the ship, scavenged by enthusiasts just after it sunk. For those hunting for a piece of Vancouver lore or just some West Coast wildlife, the tides will be low for 2 more days.
It feels so rich and enriched by what we have here. I'm awed.
And it's just really neat to get a new view of the place where I live.
A rare reminder of what, most of the time, lurks just beneath the surface. Michelle Gassoub, CBC News, Vancouver.
Okay, now to help explain the science behind the tides, let's bring in senior meteorologist Johanna Wagstaff. So Johanna, walk us through what's causing this.
Yeah, Andrew, we're really seeing 3 different natural cycles all line up at the same time to bring us some of the lowest tide we've seen in a decade at least here on the south coast of British Columbia for the past few days. So the first one is what we call spring tide. That's not connected to the season. That's just the most extreme high and low tide in a month. That's connected to the full moon, which was this morning. The second cycle is that was a super moon. So the moon is on its closest approach to Earth this year. And finally, we're getting close to the peak of an 18.6-year lunar cycle, also known as the standstill lunar cycle. Even though it peaks 2024, 2025, we're already seeing those impacts now. And Andrew, I've got to say, I was out here for the extreme low tide at 1 p.m. today, and it was dramatic. I've never seen it this low, and I've never seen as many birds fight for feasts that were uncovered by the low tide.
Yeah, no, super cool and super lucrative apparently too. And what about, like the rest of Canada? Is it just BC or is anywhere else seeing these low tides?
We are seeing these extreme tides on the east side of the country. I checked your tide map, and the next few days might be record low for some of you in Atlantic Canada. You'll have to check your local tides. The local phenomenon really plays a role in where we're seeing the records, but if you're by the ocean, it'll be pretty cool to check out over the next couple days.
Okay, very neat. Johanna Wagstaff in West Vancouver tonight. Thank you.
You're welcome.